Hi, welcome back. We're in the EV Adventures garage and just wanted to introduce the second half of our Mercedes EQS deep dive. So we'll start out. You'll see me going into some of the settings and going through the hyperscreen and then charging and doing some driving. So enjoy. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the inside of the Mercedes EQS 2022. As I've said before, this is the lower spec of the higher spec. In other words, this is the premium model, which is the lowest of three trim groups: premium, exclusive, and pinnacle. Pinnacle primarily gives you more backseat accoutrements and luxury. And but here we are with this beautiful screen. I've seen it on YouTube. I've even seen it in person before, but doggone it, this is just a really, really impressive sight. Now, I'm going to push the start button. Puts me in position and shows the screen. I have it on assist, and I like that. It's very much like my Tesla, and we'll drive in a little bit and I'll show you exactly what that does. But down to the left we have percentage of battery. I like the fact that it has percent and miles, and it gives you an upper and a lower, not on that screen, but on the EQ screen. Gives you an upper and a lower amount of miles you might be able to drive. You can see that is showing that it's just over 50%, so maybe it's 70%, say, something like that. And says the car is ready to drive, has full power, 100%. And so over to the big boy. So some ideas. We'll touch EQ, ask me where we want to go. Let's see about charging stations. And so it shows us in the vicinity where charging stations might be. And so the Electrify America station is a little ways away. Let's see here. There it is. Yep. Okay. So Electrify America. Let's see what it does there. I guess it's just giving us that. I wonder if it will tell us what chargers are in use. Not that I'm seeing right now. Okay, so here we could navigate.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
All right, if we were going to go, we would, and we will later, proceed to the highlighted route. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. And then up here, that lays out our navigation. It's very clear. Oh, one thing about that's telling me about activating the fingerprint sensor. The reason it did that, I'm going to turn the camera down and look where my forearm is, and right under it is the fingerprint sensor, which it really is tempting to just lay your forearm over this black rectangle here that does have some of those controls. It doesn't seem to shut the car off or anything like that, but it will yell at you a little bit. Okay, no device connected, that's good. All right, so, all right, we cut that off. Now, let's go to EQ here, and let's go to range. It says data is being loaded. And it's still being loaded. Now I'm parked inside the EV garage, and we do have very good Wi-Fi coverage out here. So the car is hooked up to Wi-Fi. Let's see if this might not be a situation like calling the help desk. Okay, well, while it's thinking about range, we'll look at percentages. Okay, so we've got 69%, which it is calling 280 miles. 340 miles is the EPA stated range. So, interesting. It's set to eco charging, and that maximizes a charge of 100 kilowatts, and this car can charge at 200 kilowatts. And the reason that 200 kilowatts, even though it may seem low compared to other cars in this segment, is that the charging curve is such that it gets up to 200 kilowatts rather quickly and stays there a rather unbelievable amount of time, and so it doesn't peak and then immediately go down precipitously. So at any rate, I think I would take eco charging off. That would be great if you're charging overnight in your garage or whatever. Okay, so consumption, that gives us 7.5 minutes, 30 minutes, 90 minutes, or 3 hours. We're on 90 minutes right now. So from start, 324.4 watt hours per mile. Okay, and 7.5 minutes, 30 minutes, and then 3 hours. Okay, so let's go back to range. Range is still thinking about loading. Route, I haven't given it one. And range again. Let's try something here. Hey Mercedes.
How can I help?
What is our range?
You can still drive 281 miles.
You know, I found the voice system to be really responsive. Now, obviously, we're not getting anything there in terms of range, and we have range in other places, so I'm not sure why that isn't showing. View of our map. Let's see, route overview after start, map color scheme, automatic is great. Map data version. Okay, it just tells us which version that, satellite map. That's what I was hoping for. And that is what that's doing. Augmented reality video, traffic light view, traffic sign assist. That's great. Threshold for speed warning. There we are. Well, this is kind of cool. Traffic light view. Collision avoidance. Might as well set that up. Active brake assist. Active lane keep assist. Okay. And that's going on. Open camera cover in the back if we want to do that. Parking. Set warning tones. Okay. Not hearing those. I guess we don't get a... There we go. Okay. So there is our 360-degree view of something we might need assistance or info about. Okay, let's go back. So we were on EQ, asking us where we wanted to go. Okay, now I don't need to avoid any of those things. View we went to, and we are in good shape there, except I turned on the satellite map, and doggone if that's just not happening. So down where my arm is always rubbing against, we have dynamic, and so I'll pull up here and hit dynamic. Okay, so that's eco, and up in the corner it shows us what we get. Motor is comfort, everything's in comfort. Sport, everything's in sport. I think that's where I'll leave it. Let's see, there's a little kind of an electric gas pump there. Okay, well, just shows charging in the vicinity. Okay, all right, well, we do have our 3D map. That's good. And so let's go to home. So we've got settings. Let's do settings. Assistance, vehicle, sound experience, of course, is our creep function. I really don't like. Comfort, roof roller, sun blind. Okay, roof blind. Well, that does that from here, and I can also do that from a switch up above. Easy entry and exit feature, love that. Occupant protection. Alright, acoustic lock, automatic mirror folding. Who set this up? Now, everybody has their own way of doing it. Dynamic select. Okay, so this lets you do individual. So I'm going to put my individual things on sport. Frankly, driving, you can tell a difference driving in sport, but driving in comfort is really quite good as well. You still have a fair amount, so a fair amount of good acceleration. Okay, spotlight, warnings, and alerts. Okay. Ambient lighting, I know that you have probably seen this. Let's take a look and see. See what that is. Energy shine. Let's try that. Seat. driver. Okay, so here's something I've been wanting, and that is, let's see, heat settings. Okay, heat balance, heated steering wheel, seat position. Okay, well, the last person in here was 7 feet 3 inches. And, okay, I don't really want to set that way. So, just for grins, let's see what it does. I am about 6 feet tall. Interesting. So from where I had myself, it slid me back a little bit, up a little bit, and put the steering wheel up a little bit. Interesting. Interesting, interesting. Okay. So reset. Let's reset driver. I was looking for a way to set the seats. Let's go to EQ. Okay, EQ is this. Range, let's go back and, well, that range is being calculated. Consumption we've seen. Range is still being calculated. So for those of us who have been concerned about our Lucid taking time to do some computer tasks, well, here you go. All right, apps, gallery. I do not have my phone connected. Oh, but this is, I have seen this in some before. I believe that is the assembly line, and that is a standard gasoline S-Class. And there it is again. These must be times when the cameras thought that there was an accident or something, thought it was too close or something like that. Should we see if any of these folks look like they've been drinking or anything like that? It doesn't look like it to me. Bad joke. Okay. Interesting. Let's try that. Yep, there's another S-Class. Okay, so we can get out of that and then browser. Okay. Personal hotspot. Okay, well, not going to hook that up to do that. So, but that's where those things are. All right, now back to settings. Light. I think we, okay, so dynamic low beam, daytime running lights, projection when opening and closing, and supporting projections, we saw that. System, hey Mercedes, online voice control. Let's see what that is. Okay. Please also activate the online voice control in the Mercedes Me portal. Okay.
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please?
No, I don't need to, but thank you very much. Okay.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you with that right now.
Okay. Well, this is interesting. You can set it for voice barge in. My son frequently, when he was little, would say about his sister, she barged me. Got it. In selected situations, the voice assistant becomes active even without your speech. Range is low. Telephone forgotten. Sounds good. Okay. More settings. Ah, that's what that was. Okay. Comfort. Maybe that's our seats. So, radio. Sirius XM. Okay. All right. So, media. Again, no device. Oh, and my forearm hit the fingerprint sensor again. Okay, info. All right, shows us our front and rear motors and where what the condition of the battery is in terms of charge. I'd guess 69%, and that says 70%, so not bad. Okay, so that was energy flow, and of course we're sitting still, but so we're in sport mode, and over here it shows percentage of brake and accelerator. I guess that would show us basically how we were driving, and then it shows -1 degree to +8%. Let's see if those are buttons. They're not. Okay. All right. So back to, that was info, and then smartphone. Airdrop me stuff, and then Yogesh's phone, iPhone 156. There we go. Okay, well, don't know who those folks are, but okay. So that is that. Climate menu. There's climate control and pre-entry, and you can put that on eco or not. Pre-entry climate control, edit departure times, etc., etc. Okay, so we are on my lowered car ramp, so what you see are where the tires will go. Kind of an interesting thing on the backup camera, that is, and then our 360-degree view. There we are. Okay. The 360-degree view is nice to be able to cut out of the garage as much as possible. Now, this is a turn that I make a lot in the Lucid and in my Tesla, and never can I make it that sharply. I always come near the curb. So the four-wheel steering is just rather amazing, getting out of that particular spot. And I have, matter of fact, I don't think we have a car that will get out of that spot particularly easily. A setting that I did not show you, because you really have to hear it to believe it, is the sound system. The Burmester sound system is phenomenal. I've had Burmester sound systems before. This is the bomb. The way you set this, it's not just a matter of bass, treble, and mid-range, or even there is a good equalizer, but it's not even that. It takes you through different instruments that represent those ranges, but they represent them very, very well, and they ask you to pick a volume that's a comfortable listening volume, and then you can adjust how intensely you hear those types of instruments. Very, very nice, and worth every penny, as always with Burmester, every penny. Now let's see what Mercedes will do. Hey Mercedes,
How may I help you?
navigate to the nearest Electrify America station.
Starting route guidance to Electrify America, 3105, Waukee, Dallas, Iowa.
You've probably heard people talk about the brakes in this car. They are a little bit on the weird side. It feels like at first you've got kind of a squishy pedal. That isn't particular. Like you have to put a lot of
onto Northwest 156th Street.
Like you have to put a lot of force on the pedal to get stopped. Just a few miles of driving and you get quite accustomed to that. I drove this on the interstate, and the adaptive cruise control system really is it keeps you in your lane. It will do an automatic lane change, and so it's a very good system, very reliable, it seems. Now I'm going to put on the intelligent recuperation, so it will use strong recuperation when it finds that that's a good idea, and then much like the Porsche's InnoDrive system, it will coast when that will save the most energy.
Turn left onto Southeast Dallas Road.
Another nice thing is that positioning the seat in this car is really quite nice.
Southeast Dallas Road.
You can, I tend to like to sit pretty far down. Does not bother me to feel like I'm sitting just peeking out of a hole. And so it will allow me to do that. So we're going to Electrify America, and let's see about the charging. This car charges at a pretty constant rate of 200 kilowatts, and again, while that may not be as much as some cars, it is the maximum rate does not drop off a whole lot or very quickly, so that's a good thing. Let's try for range again. It's still one moment. Okay, range does not seem as if it's going to come up, and these are software issues that Tesla has had 10 years to fix, and so these are the problems of having a newer EV. So let's see. Okay, good. It's on that side. Now to cut accustomed to backing this up, but wow, what a thing with this four-wheel steering. That is like driving a go-kart. And this, okay, so we are charging at 115 kilowatts. Now we're at 68%, 69, so not a surprise that we are below the 200. So we're up to a range of 321. I would really almost like to let this charge to 100% and see what our maximum is. We're at 100 and, okay, so we're at 80% into the battery and we're still charging at over 100 kilowatts. Very nice. Let's see, we're at down to charging at 79 kilowatts. We're at 84%. Let's see what this guy will go up to. My driving. So back in the EQS at 99%, we are up to 399 miles of range. Now, this is a car that one of the managers at the Mercedes-Benz dealership drives, and just knowing what I know of him, which is not a lot, but I don't see any of those guys as babying the accelerator. So we're at 400 miles at 99%. And I have to say that the location of the charge port I did not think was going to be all that handy, but you know, it really is. Backing in, I didn't have to stretch it or anything like that. I'm happy with that. And plug and charge with Electrify America was just perfect. And so, you know, this is, from a charging point of view, and charging this deep in the battery, is always a slow proposition. I don't see the, okay, charging is complete. So we'll end that and then get back in. So full battery, 400 miles. Very nice. Okay, so we filled the battery at the Electrify America station. So I took the time that I normally wouldn't to go to 100%, and that gave us 400 miles of range. Very nice. I've got it in sport mode right now, and I'm going to use automatic recuperation or intelligent recuperation. And nice. Very, very good. So now we're down to 399 miles. I calculated that we are getting about 2.85 miles per kilowatt, and that is not the most efficient, but again, I think that's kind of how it's been driving, or how it's been driven, is not in the name of efficiency. I can feel with the automatic regeneration, I can feel sometimes the regeneration kicking in and sometimes not. Kind of depends on what's coming up on the road. This is just a really magnificent car. Is it perfect? No. One thing that no car should be without is four-wheel steering. Okay, so now we're coming up on a car. I punched it there a little bit. We're coming up on a car, and the automatic regen, or the intelligent regen, as we were coming up on a car, slowed me down, which is great. Better, I didn't touch the brake, it just did it. And we're not in an automated driving mode. So that is terrific. So as you're watching the screen there, you can see that, again, kind of Tesla-esque. We are coming up, we're next to a car. It didn't disappear, it's kind of ghosting in and out. There it is. I had turned on a switch for traffic light mode, and I'm not seeing the traffic lights here, so difficult to say what traffic light mode is. That'll require a little research, maybe. I do have, I think, Vivid Flux on in terms of sound. That is really kind of a fun sound. It's fun to hear something react when you punch the pedal. Okay guys, traffic light view is on the middle screen, and what it's showing me is a wide angle view of the entire intersection, likely to keep you from pulling out in front of someone who's running a light going the other way. I'm really intrigued with this intelligent regeneration, so I got up to speed and then let off. There was a little regen, and then now we are indeed coasting, which is great. That's got to save battery. Accelerating, not coasting. So let's see what happens. We're coming up on our turn here. I'm going to put on the brakes. And again, these brakes are just fine. They're dynamic, and I think that's the thing that I've heard from most testers, is that since they are dynamic, you don't necessarily know what you're going to get when you push on them, but there's a limited range of what one could get, and so I think, again, it's more learning than anything. There's a learning curve to that. Okay, so we turned onto a street that we needed to slow down for. Regen kicked in, and I'm keeping it at the speed limit, and the car is pretty much coasting. A little bit of regen, slowing us down just a little bit. But the brake feel here is really good, and the steering, unbelievable. Unbelievable. There. Okay. Well, here we are. Nice ride. And we'll have a summary coming up. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation as much as I enjoyed making it. And wanted to wrap up a little bit in regard to the Mercedes EQS. Let's start with the exterior. The exterior has been the source of debate. An awful lot of people, including myself at my first introduction to it, said, oh, that's what they decided to do. I like the front. I think it's nicely aggressive. I like the back. The haunches are pretty good, and I like the light bar across the back and the coiled, almost filament-like brake lights, turning lights and such. It's the side I have a problem with. Little bit like a flattened out Volkswagen. But that being said, it is something that I've gotten used to, and very frankly, driving it and the interior and the tech, for me, makes up for a less than stellar look. This is not a Ferrari. And Mercedes-Benz would say, well, in order to get the aerodynamic tendency or qualities that we needed, we had to make it this way. I don't know, 0.2 coefficient of drag. Well, Lucid managed that, and the Lucid is quite a beautiful car. The Tesla Model S is very close to that. Again, a very beautiful car. So that's the outside. But it's, I guess it's a little bit like dating a girl that might not be the prettiest in her class, but really is, has heart. You can trust her, and so, she becomes more beautiful as time goes on. I'm thinking that's where the Mercedes is. It has a nice personality. Anyway, pardon my looking at my notes here. So the interior, plush, well-made, beautiful Napa leather, just very, very nice. The seats are not only comfortable, but very highly adjustable. From having Mercedes automobiles before, this car, excuse me, strikes me as one that would be absolutely fantastic for a road trip. And I'm looking forward to being able to do that, as a matter of fact, and see how it works. The hyperscreen, extremely impressive, and I love that huge screen in the middle. Navigation seems good, but just the screen in front of you as well. A wide variety of looks that can have depending on what you want. I like having it in a mode that reminds me of the Tesla screen, where it'll show cars around you and that sort of thing. And my hope is that with over-the-air updates, like with Tesla, they will be able to show more in the way of traffic lights and things like that. The interface on the Hyperscreen is relatively intuitive compared to Mercedes' last generation of MBUX systems, but it is vast. There are so many parts to it, and so it would take some time. But that's okay. Good things come to those who wait, right? Performance, 0 to 60. Mercedes calls it 4.1. It seems from what I've seen, anywhere, depending on whether you're launching or rolling start or whatever, 3.7 to 4.1, you know, whatever. Sometimes German automakers will also set that a little high in order that all cars rolling off of the assembly line meet that expectation. So 4.1 it may be a notch above what it really is. But even at 4.1, very quick, obviously instant torque, it's electric, and and almost more importantly, that 30 to 80 or 90 is absolutely wonderful. You can just blast beyond traffic that you need to get away from. I really enjoy that. The driver assist, lane keeping is subtle. It's not like Mercedes lane keeping used to be, where it would jerk the wheel basically to keep you from leaving the lane. It's very subtle, but it does the job. The headlight array, very cool, and this level of artificial intelligence is so neat. The digital headlights will, as you're making a lane change, it'll make automatic lane changes, and it will show you with light on the pavement where it is you're going to go. And so very cool. Navigation seems good, but again, I'd like to take it on a trip and see if it will truly navigate you between Electrify America stations, just as Tesla navigates you from one supercharger to the next that you need. It does not have 800 volt architecture like the Porsche or Hyundai or Kia, or 900 volt like the Lucid, but with its 400 volt architecture, it charges at a maximum of 200 kilowatts. The trick is that it will go rapidly to 200 and then stay there, depending on where you are in the battery pack. But overall, if you look at the charging curve, you see that it stays high. So if you were charging further into the battery with a higher level of charge, it might go as fast or faster than the 800 volt architecture cars. I don't know. Interesting thing to test. The outcomes seem to be about the same as far as charging. A little difference. The Mercedes is more like 5 to 80% in like 30 minutes, whereas the 800 volt architecture might be more in the 22-minute range, but pretty darn good. Overall, the Mercedes knows what it is. It is a luxury car. And of the three big players in this niche. I see those as being Tesla Model S, Lucid Air, and the Mercedes EQS. Of those players, the Tesla, especially the Plaid, it knows what it is too. It's a drag strip ripper. I mean, that's what it's going to do. And not having driven a Plaid yet, I'm going to tell you that it may corner really well. I don't know, but my Model S range corners well, takes off well, a little more minimalist interior, and so it's a little more sporty. The Lucid, well, the Lucid cuts a little different path between luxury and sport. More luxurious interior, but extremely sporty. And again, depending on how you option it, if you get a performance version of the GT, or if you get the Sapphire, for heaven's sakes, oh man. And so then that's a sports car. So you can make the Lucid or the Model S into a pretty darn good facsimile of a real sports car. The Mercedes EQS, as I said, it knows what it is, and what it is a luxury car. It's not a sports car. It's a luxury car that's sporty, it's fun to drive, it has a lot of tech that's interesting, and so it's an interesting car, like a sports car is interesting, but it's never going to be a 911. And that's just it. It will corner like a 911, although I have to say, with the rear wheel steering, cornering, torque vectoring on the highway, it is not a slouch when it comes to cornering. So again, it does sporty things well, but it knows what it is. It's primarily a luxury car. Well, thanks for listening. I appreciate your time in watching. Do remember that Goodyear has been kind enough to select me as an affiliate. And so if you're in need of tires anyway, there's a link down below to get Goodyear tires online at a discount. They'll be delivered to your trusted installer. And so if you need tires, click on that. It'll help us give you better content. All right, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.